Hello friends, it's Alexis and welcome to another readathon vlog. In this one we're going to be getting ready for the Starfall Ball. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will have Tori Between Pages announcement video linked below. She is the host of Romantasyathon, and this week I am participating in the Starfall Ball edition of Romantasyathon. So the readathon is all about reading fantasy romance books, and each book you read completes a prompt which then corresponds to some aspect of what you're wearing or bringing to the ball. It all makes sense when Tori explains it, but basically I have my TBR here, and I kind of talked about these already in my February TBR pop video, so I'm not going to go too far into like the synopsis of the book or what prompt it's fitting to. We'll talk about it when we come to it. First up, a book I have already started last night, you would have seen, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I'm about 100 pages into it at this point, and I will give you my thoughts a little later on. Enjoying it so far. Excited to talk to you about it. Next up, of course, we have this monster, Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Excited but nervous about this. I've heard from some friends that they don't think I will be into this one, but I'm excited to give it a try. I really want to be a fairy fantasy romance girly. I want to get what everybody else is getting about this book, so I'm gonna give it my best try. And if I hate it, then at least it's another book I get to mark off of my physical TBR. And then the last physical book I have is The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. I don't know why she names her books with such long, complicated titles. I can never remember this one, but this is in the Crowns of Nyaxia world, which love that first duology so much. I read them both last year and just flew through them, so I'm hoping to do the same with this one. And then besides that, I wanted to intro this video super quick because I actually think I'm about to add another book onto the TBR for this week. I was unaware until like literally this morning that the sequel to Feybound, Cursebound by Sarah El Arifi is out today. So definitely like my most anticipated book of the year. Like it just completely slipped by me. So while I was working today, I did already order it for pickup at my local Barnes & Noble, and it's ready right now. So we're gonna go get that and potentially add it to the TBR. I don't even know why I'm saying potentially. Like, I think I have to add it to the TBR. Like, I really want to start it immediately. And I mean, it's the perfect week, right? It is a fantasy romance, so it fits into the theme. But I think that's all I had to tell you about. So I think we can head out to Barnes & Noble now. And then when we get home, we have a whole night open to just spend time reading. With Cursebound! Oh my god, look at how perfectly it matches the blue I'm wearing. That wasn't even done on purpose. I put this on before I knew this came out today. I literally just walked in the door and then immediately let the dogs out, so my face is very red because it is freezing outside. I think it's like 10 degrees outside, so very happy that I was in and out quickly. So I picked up my book. I did end up going to Aerie, and they didn't have any black flared leggings with pockets. I wanted pockets, but I found this really pretty green color that was on sale. In person, it's more of like a bluey sage green, closer to my hoodie. On the camera, it's coming up more of an uglier green, but in person, it's a pretty green. Also, I had a Pango order that I dropped off at the post office that's right next door to the mall. So knocked everything out at once, and now I get to sit down and start this. I do think I'm gonna put A Study in Drowning on hold to do this tonight. But first, I'm gonna make myself some dinner. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have this like zucchini sun-dried tomato grilled cheese. It was like originally a HelloFresh recipe that I now just make all the time. So that'll be quick and easy. I have the whole house to myself. Dan is still staying at his dad's house during the day to take care of him. If you missed it in my Jante's Inferno vlog, his dad had surgery, so everything's going good. He just definitely needs somebody there to help him out. And then Dan's brother is there staying at night, so Dan can come home. And yeah, I'm hungry now, so I'm gonna make food and then get started on this. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, this is exactly how every next book in a fantasy series needs to start. It's Lettel's journal, notes chronicling recent events, and it's literally a fast summary of everything that happened in the first book because it's been a year, so it would have come back to me, but this is so good just to have this on-page refresh of that's what happened, that's how the last one ended. Oh my God, so good. So you might not be able to tell because books have been edited together, but it's been 3 days since we've talked and I have only made it to the 100-page mark. It's not that I'm not liking this. It's fine, it's good, but it's not Faebound. And I don't know if maybe I'm just slumping a little bit because I've been really busy with work. I don't have the audiobook to listen to and I just haven't really had a chance to read physically as much as I wanted to, but this book definitely isn't helping because every time I put it down, I'm not being drawn to pick it back up right away. But I am determined to change that. I am determined to like this book because of how much I like these characters. So it's Friday night and my plan right now, because it's already 11 o'clock, is to get into bed and read as much as this as I can. And then tomorrow morning, we are going to a coffee shop. So that is more dedicated reading time. And just I really want to just push myself to finish this one as quickly as possible because it's got to get better, right? Because I know what this author is capable of and I can see little bits of it, but I don't know. I guess the story just hasn't grabbed me yet, so I'm giving it more time. There is a new character we've been introduced to, this elf named Alder. And so I'm interested to learn more about him. I thought he was in an earlier chapter with Yirin encountered him and then she left. So I didn't think he'd be in the rest of the story, but he popped up again in the part I just read, thinking he's going to be a bigger part of the story than I was originally expecting him to be. He's cool. He's a really big tree guy. So the elves that he is a part of, they're the nomads. They don't have a set village the way that Yirin did in the beginning of Faebound. So he's not part of the big elf villages. He's not a part of Waxing, Eclipse, Waning, or Crescent. He's just on his own, living in the banished lands with the other nomads. So yeah, very excited to learn more about him. They live in sort of this community above the trees and they're constantly moving. So they set up these hammocks and stuff. Besides that, I'm loving getting to be with these characters again. I love Yirin, I love Lettel, but I think what's throwing me off is they're kind of on their own side quests. They're not together like they were in Faebound. And I just love when they're all together. I love Yirin and Little's interactions as sisters. They are just so funny to me, the way they like get on each other's nerves, but also like very clearly love each other and work together so well. So yeah, a little apprehensive so far from what I've read, but it's gonna get better. I know it is. I have faith in this book. I have to love it. So yeah, I think that's all for now. I'm gonna say goodnight and then I will see you in the morning for our coffee date. Glowing with the light from these windows. I think we're gonna have to turn around to get some better lighting today. Okay, that's a little better. You are sitting on the cat tree, so hopefully none of the cats plan on getting down right now. So I'm obviously home from the coffee shop, had a very productive time there, read quite a bit of Cursebound, and I am sitting down now to hopefully maybe finish it. I have like 90 pages left, so I think that's possible. In this one, since we last spoke, a lot has happened. We've gotten a lot of big reveals, which I was on the right track, but I wasn't correct in who I thought it was going to be. It's finally starting to feel more like Feybound, like I'm enjoying it more. Not that I wasn't enjoying it, but yeah, it's just finally starting to feel more like the first book did. It's just been very, not exactly slow, but just different than the first one. So I'm thinking these last 90 pages are gonna be like really, really fun, fly through them. I feel like they'll be a lot more like the first book, and then also all of our characters are together again. So maybe that was a big part of just why it felt different to me, having all of our characters kind of off doing their own things. But I'm interested to see what's kind of gonna happen in this last little bit, what we're going to get answers to, and all that stuff.
Crowded places.
I knew it. I knew it.
Sinking in. Lonely faces. Say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't even tell you what's happening right now because major spoilers for like the entire series. But one of Little's prophecies, I just got it. I got it. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh my god. What? What? Is she gonna get it right away? I don't know if she gets it. She gets it. She gets it. Ah! Oh my god. What? I gotta finish this right now. I don't think... Oh, it's literally the epilogue. Oh my god. I don't think... I mean, I know it's the epilogue, right? We're not gonna get all of the answers I want, but this is for sure setting up the next book. Like... That's wild. I never saw that coming. I never saw that coming. What? I did like the ending. It definitely picked up and it was giving me the same sort of vibes as the first one. It just, I don't know, was something about it. It was written almost a little bit like it was a lot of telling you what was happening instead of showing you. Like, we would switch point of views a lot. I don't know, it would sort of go back in time. So if something happened in Little's point of view, we would switch to Yirin's, and then instead of getting like the explanation of what happened in Little's point of view, it would just be like, Yirin told blah 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 what happened. It was happening a lot, and it was just annoying me a little bit. It felt like, I don't know, it felt like she couldn't get the timeline down right. I don't know, I don't feel like it's a 5-star. It's missing that little something. It's very close. I feel like going with a 4.5 star. I still love this world. I love these characters. Like, that is a big part of it for me. And the love stories are so cute. We now have 3 romances going on, and the one that was introduced in this book, oh my God, losing my mind. I went absolutely feral over it, and it's with one of my absolute favorite characters, and I'm just so happy. I'm scared for the last book, but also like, I can't wait. I need to know what happens. This ending, this cliffhanger, wild. I never saw it coming. So I'm gonna go get A Study in Drowning, and we will continue with that one now. All right, we are back, and I am finally ready to jump back into A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Took a little hiatus, as you know, to read Cursebound, but I'm very excited to get back into this because I was really enjoying what I had read before taking the break. So I've read a little bit more this morning, and I made it to the 150-page mark, chapter 9, so I thought it was a good time to check in with you, let you know my initial thoughts, let you know what's going on, what this book is about. I did go back and I didn't reread what I had read before Cursebound, but I just kind of skimmed and kind of took notes. That way I knew what I was talking about. And by knowing what I'm talking about, like, I use that very loosely because I'm a little confused, but I think I'm finally getting there. So literally the first thing I have written down is the beginning was confusing. Okay, let's start off and talk about our main character, Effie. She is a young girl in university, and she is in the architecture program. And she's not really interested in architecture, but the reason she's in this program is because what she really wants to do is study English and literature. But the English Literature College does not accept female students. So this is like the closest she can get to it and still be in the same building, still have the same access to the libraries and the books and that kind of stuff. And you can tell that she's sort of hoping that maybe the rules will be changed and she will be allowed to transfer to that part of the college, because we learn that the one thing she is truly interested is this author named Emrys Myrddin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. And specifically his work called The Encarad. And the best I can understand this book is almost looked at as like a religious text. So he is sort of like the national author of this world that we're in. Is there a map? That's what I mean by I'm kind of confused. No, there's no map. But we have this national author, and he is really revered as being just this genius, and we learn that he has just passed away. So the story really is about him and this book that he has written, that much like a religious text, I don't know if it's supposed to be fact or fiction. Like, I'm pretty sure it's fiction because it has to do with fairies, but there are people in this country that do sort of believe it as being real. Effie is sort of one of those people. So the Encarad is all about this fairy king and this human woman that he falls in love with, but it's sort of half love story, half cautionary horror tale, because I think Encarad dies at the end or something like that. So it's not like a happy, good love story. Like, it is, the fairies in this are not good. They're scary. We're not supposed to like them, which already I am loving about that. That's something I love, is like when fairies stay true to sort of like the classic folklore, that they are scary creatures, that they're just kind of horrific looking, that they steal babies and like trick you. And so I'm loving that aspect. So back to Effie in college. We really start out the story by learning about what she wants to do, her love for this book, and that there is a poster hanging on the wall that is kind of inviting her to submit work to this like competition. So basically, Emrys Myrddin has passed away, and his estate, I guess, his remaining family members are looking to redesign their home, and they want a student from the architecture college to do that. This is where it seems kind of confusing to me, because like, why would you pick a student to do this? Like, being sort of the national author, you think they'd have money to kind of hire like somebody who's actually good at their job. So already this feels sort of like a setup to me. I don't know if I'm being too suspicious, or I don't know if it's just poor writing, that the author just needed a reason for Effie to be involved with this author. But yeah, we learned that right away, that like this is going to kind of set up our story. This is how Effie is going to get to this guy's house involved with all this stuff. So I'm sure me describing it was as confusing as I felt reading it, but the only other thing that I forgot to mention is we have also learned about Effie's experience so far at the school, and her advisor is doing some sketchy shit. So we didn't learn too much, but from what I'm gathering, it seems like her advisor may have put some pressure on her and taken advantage of her the way that somebody in this power dynamic can, this advisor having more power than this student and kind of forcing them into something that wasn't exactly consensual. And unfortunately, the men in this world suck so far because they're all sort of blaming Effie. Like it got out around the school what happened, and all of the students and the staff, faculty are really shunning Effie and saying that it was her fault that it happened and that she's the one that kind of initiated this relationship with her advisor. And reading Effie's point of view, like, that is not true at all. She's actually dealing with some trauma from what happened to her. Like, this is already a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know this aspect of this coercive sexual assault would have been in here. It's not on page, but it's talked about a lot. Her poor main character's like mental state, and everybody is just being terrible to her. Like, all of the students suck. Her mom is sort of awful, and nobody wants to actually help her. They really just want to blame her and tell her to take her medication and everything will be okay. And that's just, it's making me mad. I'm feeling a lot for Effie, and I just hope by the end she like sticks up for herself and like gives it back to all of these terrible people. I think that's all I have so far. We did just get to Mirdan's house, but like nothing's really happened yet. So excited to see where the story goes. Excited to get to know and learn more about our love interest. So yeah. Hello again. Sorry, I have been the worst at checking in today. I've just spent the evening reading. I've gotten a bit of progress done. I'm like officially at the halfway point, but I am falling asleep. So I thought now is a good time to do a little check-in and be done reading for the night. At this point, I feel like, I'm trying to find a place to put this. That's good. At this point, I feel like I'm starting to get it, I think. There's been a little bit of a mystery introduced, which I'm having a good time with. Effie has now teamed up with Preston to do this research, prove his thesis that he is writing. And I like this. I like the turn the story is taking. I didn't think, like going in, I didn't think this is how it was going to go, but I'm intrigued. What I'm not loving is just the treatment of Effie. Everybody is so terrible to her except for Preston. So we know she is staying at Mirdan's estate and his son still lives there, like his grown son. And he is like being super, super creepy and predatory to this like young girl. I don't actually know if it said how old she was. I mean, she's probably like 18, right? If she's in university, but still, like, it's uncomfortable. You're an old man. Why are you doing this? Just makes me super uncomfortable every time she's like alone with this guy. But yeah, just a lot more heavy stuff being brought up, just talking about the way this inappropriate relationship, if you can even call it a relationship, because it really wasn't consensual. There has been a lot of talks of her medication that she takes and kind of the background of why, which I found very, very interesting. We have had some mention of fairy-like creatures. I'm assuming that's what they are. They haven't said flat out, but Effie's seeing things. People are trying to convince her that they're just hallucinations that she's always had, but like, I think she can just see fairies. I think that's like what's going on. We've also gotten a little bit of development into our romance. It's very like nothing has happened yet. It's just a tiny bit of flirting. I really like Preston's character a lot. He's sort of like a cinnamon bun, and you can already tell that he like fell for her. Like, he fell first, which is my favorite kind of romance in books. And I think at this point, Effie's still just like blind because she's been mistreated by men so much in her life. So she just really doesn't trust men anymore at this point, but I think he's gonna be really good for her. Like, the part I just read had the one bed trope, and it was so sweet and innocent. I love them so much. So I can't think of anything else to say, but I'm still just really, really enjoying this. The little sections of Ankarad we're getting are like super beautifully written. That's sort of like the book inside of this book. So I'm enjoying that and just learning more about the fairy folklore stuff. That's all for now. So good night, and I will see you in the morning. Okay, just wanted to check in and say I am making great progress. I have like exactly 100 pages left to go. And thoughts are still the same. All the men in this world are trash, except for Preston, of course. And just, I love these two nerds so much. They are so cute. They like each other so much, and I love their interactions. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading, and I will probably talk to you when I'm done with it. I did it! I finally finished A Study in Drowning, and I really, really liked it. I'm like pleasantly surprised because I don't know why I had it in my head that like people didn't like this one, but I was looking at the Goodreads reviews and it has pretty high ratings from people I'm friends with. So at least my friends agree with me that we all enjoyed this book. I do think I'm gonna go with 4 stars for my final rating though. I don't think it was strong enough to be 5 stars, even though I really love the vibes of this one. So I really loved the like dark fairy tale, gothic, dark academia vibes that this one had. Just something about the writing wasn't exactly 4 stars. Just something about the writing wasn't exactly 5 stars. And I also don't think it needs to be a duology. Like, I was satisfied with where this ended, and I don't really know what they're gonna do for the second one. So I think I'll decide then when it comes out if I want to read it. Like, if it's getting really great reviews, I probably will, because I did like these characters. I'm happy with how this story ended. I feel like it was a very solid ending. Everything felt wrapped up to me. And then speaking of the ending in this one, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a really great ending. It's kind of what I had predicted was going to happen, but I like how it was done. My only complaint is the Fairy King. Everything with him felt a little too easy. Like, he was supposed to be this big bad, and the way they fought him, just, I don't know. I wanted more. I wanted maybe it to be more drawn out. And then I think my favorite part of this has to be the romance. It was like the perfect amount of slow burn for me, and I liked both of the characters, and I feel like we got like enough time to know them before they got into a relationship or even started showing interest in each other. So overall, lots of positives about this. It didn't have the 5-star feelings. It wasn't like a mind-blowing fantasy. It wasn't a favorite of all time, but it was good. And that means we can move on to our next book now, which might be a little ambitious because we are very quickly running out of time. And I think I'm about to read Quicksilver. Or at least try. I want to know what the hype is over this one. Everybody was screaming about how good it was at the end of 2024, and I was feeling the FOMO, so I had to get myself a copy. And yeah, this will be the 3rd fairy book of the readathon, and the first 2 went good, so I don't know, maybe I'm a changed person. Maybe I like fairies now. I'm calling it for the night. I got to page 62 of Quicksilver, and so far I'm liking it. We're just getting to know what's going on, so obviously nothing has really happened yet. We met our main character Cyrus and her brother Hayden. And it's actually very much like this opening bit is like a mix of the Disney movie Aladdin and like Mad Max Fury Road. So it is, Cyrus is a thief, a pickpocket, and she gets herself into some trouble in our first chapter. And she's like running from the guard. She's like scaling buildings. She's like making fun of them. She's very like witty and sarcastic, so a very much like Aladdin character. And then she ends up going home, and we learn more about where she lives in the third neighborhood. I think their city is built into like rings, so I think either way, she is very poor. The conditions in the 3rd neighborhood are not good. These people are not taken care of. There's like a stigma around them that they're all dirty, they're all thieves, and that they all like carry a plague. Conditions are bad, and we're kind of getting into the politics of this world, that like why she steals, why it's necessary that she steals, and like just how mistreated people are. We've actually met the queen already. So yeah, things are getting pretty intense. We have not gone to the fairy world yet, but I feel like it's gotta be coming anytime now based on the synopsis on the back. Like, Cyrus is face to face with death himself currently, so I think she's gonna open some kind of gateway to the fairy world. But I'm tired, so I'm gonna go get into bed. So far, there's been a little bit of mention of this power she has where she can control metal. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know enough about it yet, but yeah, I don't hate it immediately. So that's good. I like our main character. So I'm going to bed and I'll check in with you once I read a little bit more of this. Hello, friends. Good morning and happy Tuesday. If it wasn't already obvious, I'm obviously extending this readathon because my reading last week sucked and I still want to complete all of these prompts and read all of these books. So I'm going to bend the rules because who cares? But yeah, so obviously the readathon ended on Saturday. I'm going to keep this going. But we actually did not talk at all yesterday on Monday because I just had a very busy, productive day. So obviously I worked in the morning and then I filmed my March bullet journal, which of course will be up already at the time of watching this video. So if you missed it, I'll link it below, but I'm actually doing a Raven theme, which, you know, on brand for me, but it's actually inspired by Realmathon, which is a readathon happening in March. So a little sneak peek, even though you possibly have already seen this video. But yeah, I love it. I love ravens. I love all birds. But any excuse to do a raven theme, I'm going to take it. I'd been meaning to do this theme for a while anyways, and it was just really perfect to have Realmathon and the teams. What else? And then I went to the gym and I went grocery shopping, and then I came home and edited said reading journal video, and I read a lot. A lot. I read half of this book. The yellow Post-it note is where I got to yesterday, and then the bookmark is just like one extra chapter that is what I've read so far today. Yeah, I've actually been getting up a little bit early before work to get some reading in before I have to sign in, which is just a sign that I am loving the book if I'm sacrificing sleep. And yeah, that's what's happening. I can't believe I'm saying this. I love this book. I'm so obsessed with it. I spend all of my time when I'm not reading it thinking about it, because yeah, I spent a lot of time yesterday reading it physically, and then when I couldn't read it physically, like when I was working or driving around, I had the audiobook going. So yeah, I've been doing nothing but consuming this book for the last 24 hours. This is crazy to me. So, because we're already 50% of the way through, I figure it's a good time to do a little check-in, let you know what's going on in it. So Cyrus is literally facing execution. Like she literally has like a sword sticking out of her stomach at this point. She manipulates metal. She basically pulls this like super special magical sword out of thin air and ends up summoning our guy here, Kingfisher. And he's a fairy. So in order to save her, he transports her back to the fairy realm. So Cyrus wakes up, she's been healed, and she's now in the Fae world. And it is like the complete opposite of the human world. So in the human world, there's two suns in the sky at all time, like they never set, and it's sort of like a desert climate. Here, it's the winter palace, so it's snowing, it's cold, there's an abundance of water, nobody is dying of dehydration, and like she gets to take a bath for the first time. So life has just gotten 1,000 times better for her, but she is determined to get back to the human world because her brother is in danger. So it kind of just goes from there that Cyrus has an objective, and then we learn that Kingfisher has an objective, and they kind of need to make a deal, work together to get what each other wants. So we find out some background about Kingfisher. It seems like he was sort of banished for the past few hundred years, and the fact that Cyrus was able to like summon him back is a big deal. He is very interested in her alchemist powers. He needs her help to sort of, I don't know, defeat the evil in the land or something. This is where my like ability to comprehend what's going on in a fantasy book is like really detrimental because I don't understand everything that's going on, and obviously I'm doing a bad job of telling you, but like enjoying it. I'm kind of just going along with the vibes and hoping that what I'm like missing or not making the connections to will, you know, click in the end. But the most important part to me is the characters, and I'm really loving the characters. I'm having a really easy time differentiating them. They feel really well developed, really thought out, and like that's making it easy to understand and easy to read for me. I've read a huge chunk of this, 300 something pages. So a lot more has happened. We're definitely getting more into the politics of the world. We're getting introduced to like battle and war. We're getting a little bit of romance. So actually going back to the characters in this, they're all, at least the men, they're all like sarcastic assholes, and I love that. Those are my favorite types of characters and like my favorite love interests. Like when a guy's a jerk, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I love it. So that is a big part of why I'm liking Kingfisher a lot. And then there's this other guy named Carrion. I was actually hoping for like a love triangle or like a why choose situation because I really, really like Carrion. I think he's my favorite character. Like Kingfisher's fine. He's a little too like, I don't know, broody for me. And then I really like his friend Ren, who is also a fae in their army. He's really, really fun. I guess my only complaint is I'm not loving the main character, Saris. I really, really liked her in the beginning, and then as soon as she went to the Fae land, she like lost all of her brain cells and got really stupid. That's mean. Like she's fine. She's just annoying me a little bit, and it really is having to do with the romancy aspect. She just keeps talking about how much she hates these men, like specifically Kingfisher, but also Carrion a little bit. Like she is very much somebody who just like despises that she has a crush on somebody and like doesn't want to admit that she likes them romantically. And that's what's happening, right? Is like, I think this is supposed to be enemies to lovers, but I wouldn't really consider it that because Kingfisher is definitely annoyed with her, but I wouldn't say he's her enemy. Like she is trying to hate him, but like it's very obvious that she doesn't. So just her little comments about like how much she hates him is annoying me because like, girl, no you don't. You just hate that you're attracted to him. Which, another thing, this book is so horny. Like, I haven't gotten to an explicitly spicy scene yet, but there's been a lot of internal thoughts about how much they want each other. And then Kingfisher is just like super, super flirty and like very forward with his teasing. But yeah, I like that at the 50% mark, they haven't done it yet. Like, I like a little bit more of a slow burn. So overall thoughts are, I really, really like this. I'm really excited to keep going. I want to know what happens immediately. I mean, I would really love to finish this today. That's ambitious. So loving this for me. I'm having a great time. And yeah, I'm going to get back to listening to this. Okay, I decided to take a break because I'm annoyed with Kingfisher right now. So I don't want to read about him for a minute, but I'm like for sure gonna finish this tonight. Like, I have to, right? How many pages do I even have left? Okay, about 70. So definitely doable. Well, if I can stay awake. But yeah, very, very close to the ending. I think this last chunk that I read today has really solidified that this is going to be a 5-star unless something like really, really drastic happens to like make this lower, to like bring this rating down. But like right now, I'm obsessed with this book. So I don't really have any more thoughts to tell you. I guess just my biggest thing with this is I just really love the female main character's like role in this story, that she is like this alchemist, and that she's not just like a normal girl that like this fairy guy fell in love with. So that's like my favorite part of the story, is that there's like this plot besides the romance. Like, I'm really interested in her storyline, like working with the Quicksilver. I still love Carrion so much. I have some theories about who I think he's gonna end up with. I don't think it's gonna happen in this book, but like, I don't know, maybe. But he is just such a big flirt, and I'm living for it. Like, every time he has a line, I'm like laughing out loud about it. That's all for tonight. I am very tired, but I'm really gonna do my best to try and stay awake and finish this. So my plan is to go wash my face right now, and then I gotta let the dogs out, but then I'm gonna get into bed and try to read as much as I possibly can. It's already 11, so it is very close to my bedtime, so I'll let you know in the morning how we end up doing. All right, friends, it is finally time to close out this vlog because I have finally finished all 3 books on my TBR. So, starting out with, of course, Quicksilver, because we did not talk yet about the ending. My new favorite book of all time, my #1 book of the year so far, not a single complaint. I am obsessed with this book. I'm giving it 6 out of 5 stars. That's how good it is. No thoughts, no words. Just, I love this. I'm obsessed with these characters. I have not stopped thinking about them. Yes, I did stay up way too late last night to finish it, so I'm probably a little sleep deprived right now, and that's why I'm being a little goofy, but like, the feelings this book gave me. The ending, oh my God. Twists and turns that I did not see coming. I love it. I cannot wait to read more in this world. I'm just screaming, crying, throwing up. Like, that's how good this book is. The hype is real. Everybody knows what they're talking about. This book is incredible. I'm so happy I read this one, but like, I think I'm going through an identity crisis, because how am I gonna come on here and give 3 fairy books 4 stars or higher? Who am I? I hate fairies. But yeah, not anymore, I guess. So we talked about Quicksilver, 6 out of 5 stars, new favorite of all time. This one, hopefully Editing Alexis will have put what prompts these were going for each book as I went, but I'm pretty sure I'm using this one for What Did I Wear, because it's the most black cover that I had on the TBR, and none of the other covers really matched one of the color options, so whatever. I'm wearing a black dress for this. And then I also think this fits a few of the bonus prompts. Before that, of course, we finished A Study in Drowning, another really solid book. I really love this writing. It definitely made me want to pick up more by this author. I know she has that book Lady Macbeth, or like a book about Lady Macbeth, that came out last year, I think. And like, I was hearing like mixed things about it, that people weren't really liking it, but the level that her writing is, I cannot imagine not liking this book. I feel like I'm gonna like the Macbeth book, especially because I am such a big fan of Shakespeare, and Macbeth is one of my favorite plays by him. So I'm excited to give it a try now. And this one would have fit for, let's see if I can remember. I think this was like the trope I had with my date, because the forced proximity between Effie and Preston both having to go to this author's house to work on their school projects. And I feel like there was something else, but I'm not remembering right now. Last up, we have Cursebound by Sarah El Arifi. We had a rocky start, but the ending made it for me. Like, what? I'm still not over it. I still cannot wait for the next one to come out, which is probably not going to be for like in a year. So I'm just going to sit here like tortured, wondering what's about to happen next. This is another author. I'm just obsessed with her writing, and I think she has other books. So I think between now and when the next Cursebound book comes out, I'm going to have to pick up something by her, because I love this. She writes characters so well. And this one counted 4. I feel like this was my weapon, because this is an author I love, and my background, because fairies, because I didn't really have another choice. I had originally planned to read that vampire book because I wanted to be a vampire, but yeah, I don't have the time for that. We're gonna blame Cursebound because we're gonna blame me because I didn't know Cursebound was coming out, but yeah, I will get to the new Carissa Broadbent book soon. I have it on my physical TBR, so my goal by the end of the year, as you guys know, is to really get my physical books down, but if it's one you're really looking forward to knowing my thoughts or you want me to talk about it in a vlog, just leave me a comment below and I will make sure to prioritize it. But yeah, a pretty good readathon if I do say so myself, even though I broke the rules and extended it. But it's just really fitting for my personality because I'm late to everything in my life, so of course I would also be late to the Starfall Ball if I was going to it. But yeah, I think that's all for now. If you participated in Romantasyathon, please let me know how you did below. And since I'm going through this identity crisis, if you have any books about fairies that you want to recommend me, let me know too. Maybe I should do like a experimental taste test video of like reading people's favorite fairy books to see if I truly am changed. And then I think it's pretty obvious what emoji we have to do. We have to go with one of the fairies. So please leave me that below to let me know that you made it this far in the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you read a good book today, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye.